Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd just like to present a small case study that involves geophysical and non-invasive archaeology in general, and archaeological mapping project of Poland, the Archeologiczne Zdjęcie Polski. The study area that I will be talking about is located in the south of Poland. It's a specific area of Poland because it's a less zone. It's very historically and archaeologically inhabited since the Neolithic, and it's predominant with less soils, and the landscape itself might remind someone more of countries like Hungary more than the other areas of Poland. It's an area where in recent years there have been many large-scale highway and line investments that have been published by the archaeologists that did them, which have brought vast new amounts of data and many new, sometimes shocking sites not known previously, and more information about previous types of sites that were known before. And the area, this has changed the knowledge of this area archaeological-wise to a great magnitude, and has been a great advancement in what has been happening there. This is the area that I'm talking about. It's an earthwork in this village called Krzczonów. It's somewhere around on the border between the Małopolska voivodeship and Świętokrzyskie. So the biggest nearest city is Kraków, which is 60 kilometers to the south. So that's the area we are talking about. And this is the feature, how it looks like on aerial images that are available on the Polish geoportal. It's just kind of a squarish, not too, I think it stopped working. I don't know. Okay, I'll just point my hand. It's a small squarish kind of earthwork that has been surveyed, that has been encompassed with by the Archeologiczne Zdjęcie Polski, which is the archaeological record of Poland, which is a mapping of archaeological sites. Thanks. Mapping of archaeological sites based only on field walking. And it has been, in this data, it has been written as a burial mound, a Bronze Age burial mound. There are many similar forms like this known throughout the area. And in 2009, we made a small investigation. This is what it looks like on the airborne laser scanning data. Now, most of Poland is scanned with this technology, and it's available to view as a hill-shaded relief model on the Polish geoportal for free, and can be bought. The raw data can be bought for not large amounts of money. And in 2009, we made a small non-invasive survey that was based on the analysis of all the data, remote sensing data we could gather without paying anything. So mainly Google Earth and satellite images. And also we made a field survey. This is what the monument looks like. It's as you can see, it's not tool protected, and I'll talk about that more later. And this is the state of the AZP, that's what I'm going to call it now, the archaeological record of Poland. Poland has been divided into grids. These grids have been surveyed mostly. The red ones have been surveyed. The pink, the orange ones are being surveyed, and you see not a lot have not been surveyed. And from this, basically, some say because it's all paper and there's no way to view it and look at it in a digital form, over 500,000 sites registered through field walking in Poland. And however, the AZP is not the same thing as the monument registry, and there are only 7,628 registry archaeological entries into the Monument Protection Register, and this burial mound in Krzczonów is one of them, listed as a prehistoric burial mound. So, the question that we asked ourselves in 2009 is, what was the reason behind calling this site and this monument burial mound? There were no excavations, it's highly destroyed. The cards themselves didn't have any data. So we wanted to ask ourselves, because it could also be a post-medieval rural settlement, a fortified settlements such as the Motte and Bailey visible in the north. And the question was, how could we answer this question without doing excavations? Because we thought that excavations would not answer this question because the monument was highly destroyed. So I'm just going to show you quickly the survey we did in 2009 and the survey we did in 2016 as part of a bigger project that I will mention. And of course in 2009, at least I didn't hear of that, and most people weren't using and didn't hear in Poland about LiDAR technology. So the first thing we did is make a DEM with the use of the total station, which just the mound itself was measured with a few hundred points, which makes it even now more precise than the LiDAR data. And you can see there's a kind of a rectangular outline at the top of it, and that's probably signs of war trenches, although it does look a bit similar to other such mounds that had Motte towers on them. We did some metal detecting and a regular field walking survey. We found that the laser isn't working, so I'll look up. That the ceramics concentrates around over here, north of the mound, and the metal detector survey showed us that in the vicinity, in the north, especially in the north, there are many late medieval coins and other metal artifacts dated from, as you know, easily datable to the period. It's really funny that just before we saw the most high-tech geophysical equipment that's being used in archaeology, but in 2009, I dug up this earth resistivity meter from the cellars of the Polish Academy of Sciences. It was produced in 1982, and there were so many cables, and we managed to attach certain cables to the correct places, and we did a small survey with a twin probe array north of the mound. This is what it looked like. So no Wi-Fi, just cables, and everything was, if someone forgot, he could easily detach them and get also lost and entangled into the web of cables. And we did a really small, just one-day survey that showed that north of the burial mound, there are low resistivity anomalies that kind of look like they are going perhaps around the mound itself. So we thought that perhaps this is either the original shape of the burial mound, because we know it was destroyed, or perhaps a sign of a moat. And we did some comparison with nearby Motte-type sites known and studied, like this one in Krzczonów, but this one couldn't be studied with non-invasive methods because it's in a town, it has trees, it has garbage and everything. It doesn't look too good. And this is just to show you the scale of the destruction that could have happened here some time ago in the past. So our preliminary verdict is that perhaps this is in fact not a burial mound, it's Bailey, Motte and Bailey, but that just led to more questions, so what's the size, spatial organization, morphology, etc. In the meantime, there was this project, Małopolska Prospection, that was a hobbyist, unfunded project of aerial prospection in the area, which was heavily inspired thanks to Roman Brejcha and his experiences by Czech publications in non-destructive archaeology. At that time, it's amazing how much things have changed in 2009. People who weren't using non-invasive methods practically at all in Poland, now it seems that everyone wants to use them. And in 2009, one of the biggest arguments was that it doesn't work in Poland. And I thought, if it works, okay, I understand the argument that it doesn't work in Poland, but it works in England because that's far away. How come it works in the Czech Republic, which is just our neighbor, our southern neighbor? And based on all these experiences, last year we made a project to the National Science Centers about the hidden cultural landscapes of the western Poland upland, and using basically non-invasive approaches to studying this area between Kraków, north of Kraków, the less zone north of Kraków. The methods, I think, got quite standard. We are, of course, inspired by similar projects. This is not something we invented. So, of course, the remote sensing data query, GIS, aerial prospection, geophysical prospection, and analytical field walking, surface artifact collection, used on a large area on selected landscape components. Such as this one, a truncated ditch site from our study area, visible on this aerial photo, with some geophysics showed that this is perhaps a bit more complicated than the aerial image shows, more more complicated spatial structure. This will need to be continued. And the funny thing is that no one knows what it is, and there's no analogy in Poland, and it's basically a mystery. And a similar site also, but on a promontory headland with, this was more fortified, very defensive position with ditches and settlement activity. So these kind of sites are being surveyed and found, but aerial survey on the Krzczonów monument did not, usually never revealed any crop marks, which is common in southern Poland because the less soils and the high moisture makes this area not too good for aerial prospection. And I can show you, unfortunately can't show you the results of the analytical field walking because it was done 2 months ago and it's still being processed. But most of the collected data shows that the finds, that the set of finds we have points to the late medieval period. And the magnetic radiometry that we did here, small survey, not a bit more than a hectare, reveals that there are many, many features here that other data totally doesn't reveal, including this squarish type Motte feature that goes around the earthwork, a possible road connection, and actually remains of houses, probably burnt daub houses with within them late medieval pottery. So this is what it looks like with comparison with the 2009 earth resistance, the magnetics, and the metal finds. Our final verdict on this place is that it is in fact most likely not a monument, a barrow monument, but a Motte and Bailey monument. We know its approximate shape and features such as bridges and traces of road activity, settlement activity, high magnetic anomalies, and visible traces on the surface show us the possible construction of these houses. And this is in fact a case of an abandoned rural high medieval settlement. And the question that we have, because when we do these geophysical surveys, we're trying to interpret them, of course, which is often difficult, but how can we interpret the geophysical and the landscape and the monuments and the earthworks and the aerial images if we don't even know what kind of monuments exist within our study area, within the bounds of Poland? How can this be bypassed? Because I think when the people who did the acid bed 20 or 30 years ago on this site forgot that were probably prehistoric researchers and they weren't really maybe aware or interested in post-medieval features, structures such as this, so they saw a burial mound, so they said, yeah, there's similar ones just not far from here. It's probably a Bronze Age Sheets culture burial mound. And when we do the geophysics, everything kind of, the non-invasive approaches without digging, everything, all that knowledge kind of falls apart and I think requires evaluation. And the biggest thing I can sum up is that still in Poland we think that knowledge comes from excavations and you can't know without digging. And I think this is a good example that I wanted to show because it shows that we can know without digging, especially in a situation where digging will not give us any new data at all. Thank you.